Hey guys, and welcome to today's video. So today's video is going to be a this or that video. Today's video is going to be a little bit different. Instead of going over fragrances and their newest flankers or oldies versus newbies, I'm going to be going over 2 new rose fragrances and 2 new strawberry milkshake type fragrances. So I'm going to be doing some comparisons as well as giving you guys some layering combos at the end. So let's go ahead and jump right into the video. Okay, so first up, we're gonna start with Kayali Yum Boujee Marshmallow 81. And the number just means the number of times that it has taken to get the final fragrance. So Yum Boujee Marshmallow, this is considered a warm gourmand. This has top notes of pink lady apple, Italian lemon, freesia, nectarine blossom, middle notes of orange blossom water, pink marshmallow, strawberry and coconut flakes, and base notes of whipped vanilla, raspberry sugar, pink musk, and ambrox. So this fragrance, I will say both Kayali fragrances I'm going to talk about are very well blended. I get more accords with some notes that pop out at me. And the note that definitely pops out is the strawberry note as well as the lemon. This opens up with a citrus opening and a strawberry note. And it has that kind of creamy strawberry milkshake vibe to it. And then as this scent dries down, it gets more fluffy like when you think of marshmallow, and it gets creamy like when you think of whipped cream. So more of a light, fluffy, airy kind of gourmand. I don't pick up the florals too much in this. I don't get the freesia. I get the muskiness in the mid, and then when this dries down, I start to get a sugariness from the raspberry sugar. I start to get something creamy that's coming from the whipped vanilla, and I do pick up more of the muskiness in the dry down, but this fragrance does dry down to be more of a sugary sweet fragrance. It's very light, playful, fluffy, and airy. I do have fragrances like that in my collection that I really enjoy, but they have other balancing notes. For example, when I really loved Cloud when it first came out, I had the lavender and the coconut. In here, I don't get the musk as much as I want to, and the fruity notes kind of fall off in the background, and then this becomes kind of a fluffy, sugary, sweet scent. When you think of opening up a bag of marshmallow, that kind of dusty scent that you pick up, that's what I get in this in the deep dry down. And while it's fun and playful, if you guys have been watching my channel, you know that this isn't my kind of scent, and I just want to be real. So while I think this is pleasant, it's not a scent that I would have gotten a larger bottle of. Now, this was sent to me, so I have been layering with it and enjoying it that way, but it's not a fragrance that I enjoy on its own in the deep dry down. So it's one that I would have picked up the mini and been fine with that. Now, some comparisons. I did see that this fragrance was compared to Sweet Tooth by Sabrina Carpenter, and I do have a travel, so I did test that out one day. And while they are both fluffy, airy, and sweet, surprisingly, I found Sweet Tooth to be less sweet, more airy and musky, and more linear. This one definitely had a couple stages. It's not complex, but it did have that strawberry lemon in the opening, and then it dried down to kind of a musky, sugary, sweet, fluffy marshmallow scent. Whereas Sabrina Carpenter, when I tested that one out, was pretty much a sweet, light, airy marshmallow scent with a muskiness throughout the whole scent. And because it was lighter and more airier, I didn't have to layer anything on top of it. This one I do in the deep dry down. So again, that's Kayali's Yum Boujee Marshmallow. All right, next we have Juliette Has a Gun Miami Shake. And this is considered a creamy gourmand with top notes of wild strawberry, middle notes of whipped cream and ice cream cone, and then base notes of vanilla absolute and creamy musk. Now, when I first tried this fragrance on camera, I like the opening, and I still really enjoy the opening. This to me is more of a realistic strawberry milkshake. Now, when I say that, let me start by saying that Yum Boujee Marshmallow, the strawberry in here is synthetic, but not like strawberry shortcake doll or strawberry chapstick like I've described in other fragrances. This is more of like when you think of strawberry syrup, like the milkshake that you went ahead and blended has, instead of fresh strawberries, that has strawberry syrup. It's more strawberry scented than it is like a realistic strawberry. The strawberry in here is still synthetic, but maybe it has both real strawberries and strawberry syrup. This is also creamier. Like, this is a thicker strawberry milkshake. So instead of making it with ice, milk, and a splash of lemonade, which is what I get from that one, this one's made with ice cream, a little bit of milk, and again, strawberries and a little bit of strawberry syrup. That's what I get in this one, in the opening, because this one changes. Then as this one dries down, I start to get a muskiness, and then this starts to turn to a strawberry vanilla cake, but maybe more vanilla cake with maybe a hint of strawberry in it. This gets really gourmand in the deep dry down, and it's one that actually made me a little nauseous just because gourmands tend to do that. This one gets very vanilla in the dry down, and it's more of that sweet, nauseating vanilla that I don't like. It's funny because I love the vanilla note, but if it's too vanilla and too sweet, it can get a little nauseating. Also, the kind of milkiness that I get in this one, it goes a little sour on my skin. It's not necessarily in the air, it's more when I put nose to skin. There's a sourness that peeks through around the 2-hour mark. So I didn't care for this one. I liked it at initial spray for like the first 30 minutes, but then after that, when it starts to turn into that more of that gourmand scent, I didn't like this one. The performance on this one is also really good. So I'll go ahead and go over the performance on both of these. Both of these have really good longevity. This one did not want to leave my skin. I feel like when fragrances tend to bother you, they tend to stick around, because I feel like when you enjoy a fragrance, it kind of just, you go nose blind to it. But when you think of something like a scent that's bothering you in your house and you're looking around your house trying to figure out what it is, I feel like Perfume does that as well. This one had great longevity. I would say projection is a little less than arm's length. This one projects a little bit more, and I would say longevity is longer. This is one that after a while, it got a little headache inducing, nauseating, and when I tried to scrub it off, that didn't work. So again, that's Juliette Has a Gun Miami Shake. All right, next we have Kayali Fleur Majesty Royale 31, and this is considered a floral scent with top notes of orange, juicy pear, and sweet peach, middle notes of magnolia, peony, rose centifolia, and violet wood, and base notes of vetiver, ambrox, vanilla, praline, and musk. Now this fragrance, when it opens up, when this one opens up, I get a fruitiness. It's not loud. This isn't an overly fruity fragrance to my nose. I can't detect what fruits are in here. It's just a slight sweet fruitiness with the rose and a powderiness from the violet. And I get the rose and the violet pretty much through the life of the scent, with other notes coming in and out. So in the opening, I get the fruit, that goes out. In the middle, I start to get the musk. It's a clean musk, and then that kind of fades away. And then in the deep dry down, I get the vanilla and I get the praline. And the praline, it comes off more like when you think of praline or caramel, more of that kind of thick brown sweetness. And then again, I get the vanilla. And then this in the deep dry down is a sweet powdery rose. I don't really get a violet wood per se. Like when I look that note up, it says that it's a fantasy note that has both the note of violet along with woody nuances. This fragrance, I don't really get a woodiness from this fragrance. I get violet, a very powdery violet, and a very kind of fragrant dark rose. When you think of either a dark pink rose or a dark red rose, that is the rose that I get in this scent. And the reason why I'm bringing up the rose is because this fragrance is compared to Delina, the original Delina Exclusive and Delina La Rosée. Now I don't have Delina Exclusive. I had said in my other video that if there was a Delina that it maybe was reminiscent of, it was that one. But even that, I don't get Delina in this scent. The more and more I wear this one, I get slight Givenchy Irresistible Rose Velvet. I get the violet, or I think that one has iris. I get the powdery rose from that scent. And then I also get Nina Ricci's Rose Extase. Although I haven't smelled that one in some time, I immediately thought of that scent when I sprayed this one. This one's just a little too powdery sweet for me to compare this to Delina. Delina has a very distinct lychee note in it that to me isn't in this scent, as well as the rose is different. The rose, which is damask rose that's used in the Delena's is more citrusy and fruity, like if you look up what the rose smells like, but in more simple terms, because I don't necessarily get a fruity or citrusy, it's just a lighter rose. It's more of a light pink rose is what I think of when I wear the Delena's. Also, La Rosée is more musky and fresh. The original Delena is more tart. It's got some green nuances and it has a soft kind of incensey vibe to it. I also pick up the vetiver that's in both of these more than I do in the new Kayali. I'm sure other people pick up these other notes. Everyone is different. This is a sweet, powdery, rosy bomb to my nose. And the rose in here is a little bit more mature, which I enjoy mature roses. It's like the rose that you find in Elixir 11. Definitely more of a date night fragrance. And I probably would have picked up, because this was another one that was sent to me, I probably would have picked up this scent 2 years ago for date night or just for layering, because that's who I was 2 years ago. But now that I am trying to be more selective, this isn't an everyday fragrance to me, and it's one that I enjoy more for layering than I do on its own. So this is another one that I was lucky enough to be sent, so I'm able to layer with it and find some beautiful combinations. But if I had just gotten the miniature first, I would have been happy with the miniature and I would have passed on picking up a larger bottle. Now the performance on this is the best out of all the fragrances I'm going to talk about. This fragrance lasted overnight. This is a fragrance that when I wear it and I was working from home, I was able to smell it all day, and it did project at arm's length. Now, still not beast mode, but definitely one that when I sprayed my scent of the day today, Dennis smelled it. And I do feel like this one overpowers some of the combinations I'm going to talk about, so I have to spray this one less. So again, that's Kayali's Fleur Majesty Rose. All right, then last we have Fleur's Rose Whip. And this is considered a floral fragrance. This has top notes of pink pepper, black currant, middle notes of rose, osmanthus, and nutmeg, and base notes of amber, cashmere wood, and musk. So this scent, when it opens up, I get the pink pepper, the rose, and the black currant right away. Can you tell which one's my favorite? So this one is more fresh. It's a little bit more musky. There is a woodiness to this one in the base. And even though there's a touch of sweetness, this isn't overly sweet to my nose. This is spicy, coming from the pink pepper and the nutmeg. This has a little bit of the sweetness that I do believe is coming from the nutmeg, but I wouldn't be able to pick up nutmeg. I just know that this one's a little spicy. And then you get the black currant that's both fresh and intoxicating. I've described black currant in the past as being either intoxicating and boozy like wine, like in the C range by Giorgio Armani, or a little bit more fresh and fruity like it is in Valentino. And here it's a little bit of both. It's both fresh and intoxicating, but not overly boozy. Just a sexy, intoxicating black currant. When it starts to dry down, you start to pick up on the florals. It's rosy, it's floral. I don't necessarily get osmanthus, but there are other florals. Like I feel like the rose dominates the florals in here. This one has rose, and then I get something a little bit more like, I would say almost like jasmine, a little bit more clean, but it's, again, they list osmanthus. And then I get a muskiness, and this does have more of a woody base. I will say that this fragrance, even though I love the opening of this fragrance, because it doesn't last that 3 or 4 hour mark, I really only get the musk and the woods in the base, and it does become a little bit more dusty in the dry down. There's also a warmth to this fragrance that you get from the amber, but it's not overly ambery to my nose. Gorgeous, sexy date night, and if this didn't remind me of other fragrances, this is one I would have picked up. I do like that it's clean, so that is one reason why it could make it into my collection. This is another fragrance that was compared to Delena, and I don't get that. I don't know if it's just when a fragrance is rosy, it's compared to Delena, but this is another one that doesn't give me Delena vibes. The rose in here is more of a dark, deep, sexy rose, even though they don't list what kind of rose is in here. But when I first sprayed this, the fragrance I thought of was Kayali's Rose Oud from the Oudgasm collection. At initial spray, I'm like, oh, I have this. This smells like Rose Oud. And then as this dried down, it reminded me of Nest Lychee Rose, but when that scent dries down. Like that scent without the lychee note, because lychee's got a tanginess, it's tart. That one also has like a beautiful bubbly champagne note. That scent in the dry down reminded me of this scent as well. But I think this is a beautiful scent. If you like kind of sexy black currant rosy fragrances, a little bit woody, I think you would really enjoy Rose Whip. I thought it was gonna be more like Fleur Majesty with that whip name. I thought it was gonna be like kind of creamy and sweet, but actually this isn't overly sweet. There's a sweetness, but this isn't overly sweet the way I feel this one gets. And here, there isn't anything overly sweet. It's just that kind of sweetness that you could possibly get from nutmeg. But again, I'm not saying this has a nutmeg smell to me. Beautiful. Okay, some layering combos, and these are with the Kayali fragrances because it wasn't until the last minute that I decided to throw in 2 new fragrances. So this one, the first layer that I tried with this one was Sparkling Lychee, and this was a nice combination, but I made the mistake of overspraying. This got too sugary sweet. The first time I tried it out, before I tweaked it, I had to pop on Eden Juicy Apple. This is my fixer. When it comes to any gourmand, any overly edible gourmand, I add this and it fixes it right up. So this combination was also nice. But I would say my favorite combination was this one. This just added the fruit I needed for this to become a fruity gourmand. I didn't really need to try anything else because I did enjoy these two together. I do have a lot more layering combinations with this one. So I did layer Delina La Rosée, and this added a nice freshness to Rose Royale. So this was a nice combination. I also tried Rose Royale with Si Passione, and surprisingly this smelled really nice. I thought that maybe the muskiness with this one and the sweetness with this one would clash, but it was a very nice balancing combination. And I tried it with Si Intense. This was a sexy combination. You want date night? This right here is a perfect combination. Of course, I tried these two together and it was another gorgeous combination. I will say that I had to overspray this one and just spray this one lightly because this one did overtake this fragrance. I did try Rose Oud. This was a beautiful date night combination as well. And then another gorgeous combination, which is actually my scent of the day. We have Fleur Majesty with Cafe Oud. Now, I thought this wasn't going to be nice because the Cafe Oud would be a little too sweet. But remember, I don't get the sweetness in this one until the dry down. And by the time that happens, the coffee note in this one dies down. So this is a really nice combination. And again, this one just has balancing notes that take down the sweetness in this one. So I layered this, and then on my hair is Rose Oud. So this is another one that's really nice. Yeah, and I got a compliment from Dennis when I sprayed this on today, which I'm surprised because it is a very floral combination, but he enjoyed it. So that is my this or that video. Let me know in the comments below, have you guys tried any of these and what are your thoughts on them? But that will do it for today's video. I hope you liked it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and I will catch you guys in my next video. Bye guys.